Alright guys, it's Tom here, Permaculture Wilmington. We are going to be doing some effective microbes today on our plants. And that is because it is a beautiful rainy day. What that means to me is that we have worm juice. Excellent stuff. This is loaded with microbes, loaded with just life. And it's fresh. That's very important. We don't want it to sit and go anaerobic and start breeding that liquid, colonizing it with bad bacteria. So it's important to use it when you get it. And I'll show you real quick what our worm bed here looks like. Doing very well. These are very happy worms. They're underneath the vegetation. But if I just move around just a little bit, there's a lot of worms in this bed, and this is looking really good. I just pulled some out yesterday to plant some of my squash. Since it's a perfect time, it's about the end of April now, warming up just a little bit, but lots and lots of life in there, lots of wormies. Alright, so when it rains, the water comes in and it gets around the edge of here and wicks in and kind of gives them just a little bit of moisture. They don't like a lot, and they get a lot from the vegetation we put in. So it leaches down out of the vegetation after they decompose it, and that's pretty much what keeps this moist with the lid on. But when it rains, the water wicks in here around the edges, goes down into the bottom, and basically just gets filtered by all the soil that's between the hole and where the water comes in. And it leaches lots of nutrition and lots of bacteria life, lots of beneficial microbes all down into this liquid. So if we take this and we spray it on our plants, what we're going to be doing is inoculating them with all kinds of beneficial life. And what we've got with effective microbes is going to be a lot of things that we're familiar with. I mean, we've got effective microbes in yeast that we use, in breads, alcohol, ferments, things that anytime we make a fermentation, like a ginger beer or any of the beer we drink in the store, those are all made with effective microbes. So we've also got kefir grains that we get probiotics from. And lactobacillus is our veggie ferment. That's anytime you're doing vegetables on the counter, you know, in your kitchen, or just any of the vegetables that you're fermenting at home, doing maybe sauerkraut or some hot pepper ferments. These are all lactobacillus, where you use 2% salt by weight. And you can ferment pretty much any vegetable with effective microbes. But what we're going to be doing today is inoculating our trees and our vegetables. And I've got a whole lot of seedlings over here. So all these seedlings that you see, before we put them in the ground, I'm going to be inoculating them with beneficial microbes, effective microbes, okay? Symbiotic relationships, microbes on the skin, just like we have microbes all over our arms and all inside of our bodies. We're made up of equal parts microbes and human cells, believe it or not. They found out now, science is saying that we have equal amounts of cells to microbes in our bodies and on our bodies. Fascinating stuff. So we need to get these microbes into some of these baby plants that we're growing, these seedlings, and that way it's going to inoculate the soil that they're sitting in, which is going to be putting those effective microbes into the soil that we put the seedlings in after that, as long as we keep the soil moist and we don't let the seedlings dry out between now and then. So that way we can basically be amplifying the amount of biology in the soil every time we put a plant in while we're planting it, which is, I mean, that's what we need to do, is get these things to the plants. And this is the fastest way I've learned how to do it. So just to show you guys, this is what we're doing. We're just taking the liquid here. Let me show you. So real quick, I just want to talk a little bit while I'm taking this lid off here. What the effective microbes are doing for the plants is they're turning nitrogen into amino acids by fermenting them. Alright, so we're basically doing a nitrogen ferment with all the vegetables here. So all these microbes are fermenting these vegetables down into this, into the worm bed, and then as the water comes in when it rains, this fresh rainwater that's a perfect 6.5, which is what our plants need to absorb nutrients, it has to be in that range. It comes into this worm bed and it filters all the fermented juice in the bottom down into this bin. So this is basically fermented juice is what we're looking at. This is naturally fermented worm juice, and we're feeding it to our plants to inoculate them. So, and that's basically amino acids. So it's the plant soluble form of nitrogen is what these bacteria are doing. They're breaking down fermenting the vegetables into amino acids, which is the foundation for protein. And that's protein is what the plants eat. That's why we need plants in our life. That's why animals, we get our protein from animals, but animals don't get it, you know, they're just not born with it. They actually acquire it from the plants that they eat. So we can bypass the animals now, guys. We've gotten to the point in science where we know that we actually need vegetables more than we need animals. Vegetables are the answer. That's what we need to be consuming. This is the original source of protein. So what we're going to do here is take the cap off of this spray bottle. See if I can get this off. There we go. And I'm going to fill it up. About half is what I usually do. Half of the container here. And then the rest of it I'm going to fill up with rainwater. Not city water because it's chlorinated. At least our city water is. If you have well water, that might work, but you want clean water because the chlorine and fluoride that's in the water we get from the city, if we put that in here with our effective microbes, we would actually be killing them. So the city water comes in at 7.0 pH, and it needs to be left out in the sun for the UV light to drain. The UV light takes the chlorine out of the water for at least 24 hours, and that'll drop the pH back down to 6.5, and then you can actually use it to do this if you wanted to. But really, it's just easier to do something like this where you've got like a little shed, put some metal roofing on it, and then have a gutter go down into a barrel and just collect rain. So much easier, guys. Highly recommend that to work with things like this. Okay, and that's the whole reason that we need this when we're gardening, is so that we don't just completely defeat the purpose of all this effort. Like, all this work that we do can just be shot if we just do something as simple as take chlorine and put it in with our effective microbes. It just renders it completely useless to do this. So highly recommend rainwater for that reason. And make sure it's not coming off of gasoline shingles either, or shingles that have gasoline products like tar products and things that are used to put them together. So awesome worm castings for the garden. This is food in itself. Just put it around your plants when it turns into this black gold. And then the liquid is what we're going to be using. We didn't quite get, you can actually multiply this times 20, I've been told, to make it so that it's still as effective. So 20 times what you get. And I think that's probably more like 6 or 7 times if I just fill this up with water. So there's still plenty of room here. I could probably multiply this. I could have made 2 of these with that much, 2 or 3 maybe. I have to run up to the store real quick, guys, so this is a good time to tell you, if you've got some juice left over, you want to use it again later, you need to aerate it. And this is a good opportunity to actually multiply it if you just add water in and add an oxygen tube. This is going to a pump that's connected to my hydroponics over here. So it's just an air pump that has an air line in it, and I've attached a fishing weight on the end of it just to hold the line down to the bottom of the water, all the way in the bottom, because you want it to cycle. You want it to create a cycle in here, moving what's on the bottom to the top and adding oxygen to the water. So just drop that in and make sure there's some bubbles happening. Looks good to me. And then you're gonna have a party in there in no time at all. Probably about 6 to 8 hours is what people recommend. I've seen online, maybe even 14 hours or so. But you just don't want it to go too long because there is a saturation point for the bacteria. Just to give you an idea, but this is the secret, guys. This is going to be a game changer for so many people, including myself, since I've only started doing it a couple months now. And the difference between the state of the plants a week or 2 later after you do this, the growth rate is just, the plants are much healthier. I mean, it's amazing. So I hope you guys are well, and you're staying staying home and staying safe, and you're eating well, and you got a lot of beauty around you and a lot of fascination. Keep your brain moving. Keep your mind going and doing things, okay? And that's going to be the trick, man. That's going to keep us positive, and we're going to come out of this, and everybody is just going to be on their game. We're going to be even better than we were. It's going to make us stronger. Just like EM, we're going to get more effective microbes into our life, more fermentations, more things that are beneficial to our health, our gut health. Kombucha, kombucha is wonderful for gut health. That's, again, beneficial, effective microbes. All right, guys? Tom, Permaculture Wilmington. Hope you have a great day.